Hello, my name is Corey Tabor. I'm the director of Austin LifeGuard. We are part of Austin Life Care, which is a nonprofit here in the city of Austin that assists men and women who are dealing with unplanned pregnancies. So if a woman thinks she might be pregnant, she can come to our center, get a free pregnancy test. If she finds out she is pregnant, we can provide free professional counseling, free premarital counseling, free birthing classes, free parenting classes. We have a free Safe Riders program where she can learn how to put a car seat in a vehicle, and as a result, she gets the opportunity to get a free car seat for her own family at that point. And so we do so many things to try to give a hand up to women and men who are dealing with an unplanned pregnancy. As they take these classes, they earn vouchers called baby bucks, and they can use them in Hannah's Closet, which is a boutique that we have where they can get diapers and strollers and car seats and bassinets and baby clothes and maternity clothes, all types of resources to help them become a better parent. We also have a PAL program where they can have a mentor that can walk with them through the process of delivery and preparing for the delivery, and then even after the child is born. And so Life Care is all about helping men and women deal with unplanned pregnancies. In 1989, we began Austin LifeGuard, which is the organization that I direct. It is a sexual risk avoidance, sex and character education program designed to help teenagers avoid all of the risk associated with sexual activity, including STDs and pregnancy. So I want to thank you guys for giving me the opportunity to share with your class today because I understand that pregnancy is affecting a lot of teenagers. Statistically, we know that 750,000 teenagers get pregnant every year in the United States. That's one every 30 seconds. So while we're watching a commercial on the television at night, some teenager is experiencing the life-changing experience of becoming pregnant, and that is changing that teenager's life. They're having to live primarily without being married to the person that they got impregnated by, because 80% of teen fathers do not marry the mother of the child. Children who grow up apart from their fathers are 5 times more likely to live beneath the poverty line. Absent fathers are required to pay child support, but often they are poor themselves and only pay $800 a year in child support, which is $66 a month. That is not a lot of money. I mean, that's one video game, or that could be maybe 1 month worth of diapers, depending on how old the child is. And so we know how challenging getting pregnant in high school can be. Honestly, only 66% of teenage mothers graduate high school, but only 2% graduate college by the time that they're age 30. And so if you desire to graduate high school and graduate college, becoming a teenage mother can make it very, very challenging. And that can change the financial outlook that a person has, because at 28 years old, with a high school diploma, you're looking at making about $28,000 a year at the age of 28. But then if you get a college degree, you're looking at making $48,000 a year at the age of 28 on average. That's $1 million difference in a lifetime of work for 40 to 45 years. And so it's going to directly affect the life moving forward. So I've been asked to help you think about how can you prevent pregnancy. Well, we know that pregnancy is caused by people engaging in sexual activity. And there are actually 5 different types of sexual activity that we teach in our program. Sex is defined as physical sexual contact between individuals that involves the genitalia of at least one of those individuals. And so there's vaginal sex, which is the way that primarily pregnancies occur, but there's also oral sex and anal sex and outer course, where a person might have their genitalia come in contact with one another without the penetration of the genitalia. And then you've got mutual genital stimulation or hand-genital contact. All of these are ways that people engage in sexual activity, and that can lead to a sexually transmitted disease, or can lead to a person being charged with a crime for forcing someone to engage in sexual activity, or for being over the age of consent, which is 17 years old here in the state of Texas, and engaging in sexual activity with someone under the age of consent, which is under the age of 17. And so I understand, because daily I see people's lives impacted by an unplanned pregnancy. And I've had a number of friends, even coming through high school and into college, who experienced an unplanned pregnancy. And it happens often because they believe the myths that they can't get pregnant on birth control, or that they can't get pregnant with the use of a condom, or that they can't get pregnant through the withdrawal method, where a person, the male, withdraws prior to ejaculating during sexual activity. All of these are not true. Or they think they can't get pregnant the very first time that they have sex, or they can't get pregnant while they're on their cycle. I mean, all of these are things that have happened to other individuals. And so I just want to be upfront and honest with you, because I care about you enough to have created this video for your class today. I want you to know that the only 100% way to avoid the risk of pregnancy is abstinence. Abstinence is a calculated decision and a deliberate action to refrain from sexual activity until a person is married. The reason we communicate this definition is, one, it's a calculated decision. It's a choice that you can make. And then it's a deliberate action. It's action plans that you put together, including setting boundaries and making a decision to pursue your goals in life. And then it's to decide to refrain from sexual activity until you are actually married. The reason we say until you're married is because, honestly, it's really hard to know when you're ready. Somebody can say I'm ready, but they don't know if they're ready. But we know if we're married. We know if we have a ring on our finger. We know if we made a lifelong committed partnership with another individual. And so I really want to challenge you guys to consider abstinence as the 100% way to avoid the risk of getting pregnant. But if a person chooses not to be abstinent, they can engage in what we call safer sex, and that is reducing the risk involved in contracting an STD or getting sexually active or engaging in sexual activity, reducing the risk of pregnancy or STDs. So how does that work? Contraceptives, by definition, are a device or a drug that serves to prevent pregnancy. When they were created in the 1960s, we weren't as concerned about sexually transmitted diseases. There were only 2 STDs at the time, and they were bacterial STDs, and so we could cure them with antibiotics. But the birth control pill was created in 1960 to try to reduce the risk of a woman's body ovulating or releasing an egg that could then be fertilized and become a fertilized egg, a zygote that would become an embryo, that would become a fetus, that ultimately would become a born child. And so what we know is statistically, when we look at a condom, which is the barrier method of contraceptive that provides a barrier between the two parties involved, that it has an 18% failure rate with typical use with pregnancy. And so if a person is thinking about using a condom, they need to be aware of the risk, that it only reduces the risk by 82%. So that means there's 10 couples having sex over a year using a condom. 2 out of those 10 couples are probably going to experience a pregnancy. When we see HIV and AIDS, we're looking at about an 85% risk reduction with typical use with the use of a condom. When you read on the box of the Trojan condom or any other condom, it's going to have warnings that let us know that contraceptives reduce the risk of STDs in pregnancy, but they do not eliminate the risk of STDs in pregnancy. It's also important to understand that they cannot be stored in a temperature above 100 degrees Fahrenheit for a prolonged period of time. So in Texas, it gets above 100 degrees Fahrenheit all the time, especially in the summer. So it's important not to store a condom in the storage compartment of a car, in the console of a vehicle. It's also important to check the expiration date. If you're planning on using a condom, make sure that condom has not expired. It goes on to give information about the importance of being able to use just one condom every time and not use multiple condoms, because that actually increases the risk of it ripping or tearing or breaking or coming off during the sexual activity, because when latex is under pressure and is engaged in a number of friction opportunities, it can become easier for it to come off during sexual activity. It's also important to make sure you read the directions on the inside of the carton, because a condom does have a proper way to put it on and a correct way to put it on. And so they say in order to get the highest risk reduction, you have to use one consistently and correctly. Consistently means every time a person engages in any form of sexual activity. So that means in any form: oral sex, anal sex, mutual genital stimulation, outer course, vaginal sex, a condom would need to be used to get the highest risk reduction. And then it needs to be used correctly, which means it needs to be placed on prior to any sexual activity. It needs to remain on throughout the sexual activity, and it needs to be removed properly at the end of the sexual activity. If any of these steps is missed, then the risk reduction from wearing a condom is actually decreased. And then it's also important that if we're looking at the contraceptive of birth control, there are various types, including the birth control pill, which has to be taken at the same time every day. And it doesn't work the very first day you take it. It takes 2 to 4 weeks for the hormones to get into a person's system to be most effective. If a person is using the patch, it lasts for about 30 days. If they're using the IUD, which is the intrauterine device, that can last for 4 to 5 years to reduce the risk of pregnancy. If a person's using an injection, that can last for a year and a half, maybe longer. If a person is using some other forms there are out there. And then there's barrier methods for females as well, including the female condom and the other forms that can be helpful for you. So just want to let you know there are contraceptive methods out there that reduce the risk of pregnancy, but the only way to eliminate the risk is by choosing to wear your pants. We've got a video that I want to show you that just shows the significance of how pants can help to reduce and eliminate, rather, all of the risk associated with sex at this stage of your life. And I finally want to leave.
Are you tired of worrying about unplanned teen pregnancies? Are you afraid of contracting an incurable sexually transmitted disease? Well, worry no more. Now there's pants. When worn properly, pants can protect you from all of the unwanted and unpleasant side effects of sex, including but not limited to HPV, chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, genital herpes, HIV, having a baby, ruining your reputation, and more. Pants come in a variety of shapes, sizes, and colors, and they're easy to use. Pants are amazing. Just listen to these real pants wearers.
Thanks to pants, I know I won't end up a teen parent.
Pants keep me safe from sexually transmitted diseases. And they keep my legs warm. Thanks, pants.
Try pants, they're amazing. And now available as shorts. Pants will not work if used improperly, and by that we mean if you take them off. Pants do not protect against wedgies. If you start to notice an odor coming from your pants, it's probably time to wash them. To learn more about what keeping your pants on can do for you, visit our website at iheartpants.org.
And I finally want to leave you with understanding that sex is a holistic act. It doesn't just affect you physically. I mean, there can be STDs, there can be pregnancy, there can be fertility issues related to chlamydia and gonorrhea that lead to pelvic inflammatory disease. But it can also affect your social life and how people view you. It can affect your relationships with your parents and with your friends. It can affect your occupation, your ability to do well in school right now. Because when people engage in sexual activity, often they're distracted in school because they're thinking about getting out of school and having sex. It can affect your spiritual life, and not necessarily your religious life, because not everybody is religious, but it could affect your belief systems, your values, what you believe to be right or true. If you think it's okay to sneak out of the house, or if you think it's okay to lie to your parents. All of these things start to get adjusted as people engage in sexual activity. It also can affect your occupation, we talked about that, your relationship, your psychological, your mind, your ability to focus. It can affect your emotions. A number of people deal with significant amounts of regret. And I want you to understand that at this stage of your life, if you're 15 to 17 years old, that nearly 60%, over 68% of teenagers your age are not having sexual intercourse at this point. So if you're not having sex, you're in the large majority, and you should feel affirmed in that decision. When we talk about sexual behavior or sexual activity altogether, we're looking at 58% of girls and 53% of guys are not having sexual relations whatsoever. So again, you're in a large majority. But 2/3 of teens who have chosen to have sex look back and they regret it because maybe the relationship changed, or maybe the person focused on sex now completely in the relationship. Or it could have been a situation where the person actually did get pregnant, or they did get an STD, or they did deal with some fertility issues. The STDs numbers are rising so quickly in our nation. 1 out of 4 sexually active teenagers will graduate high school with at least one STD. So while I'm here trying to help you understand the importance of preventing pregnancy, I also want to help you understand the risk involved in sexual activity and know that you can eliminate that risk through choosing to be abstinent. And you can reduce the risk through choosing to use contraception. So if you have any questions that what we've talked about, I would love to answer those. You can email us at info@austinlifeguard.com. You can give us a call at our office at 512-374-0055. You can invite us to come into your school and speak. I would love to be able to do that. Speak with the nurse at your school, talk to your teachers. We'd love to be able to offer our 3-day high school presentation at your school. Thank you so much for listening to this presentation. Again, my name is Corey Tabor. I'm the director of Austin LifeGuard. Feel free to contact us if you have any questions about anything we talked about. Much of the data that I've given you has been from the Center for Disease Control website, www.cdc.gov, or you can learn more at our website, austinlifeguard.com. You can email me directly at info@austinlifeguard.com, or you can call us directly at 512-374-0055. I hope that you've learned something today through this presentation, and I look forward to being able to partner with you in the future to make healthy choices moving forward. Have a great day.